Welcome to Planet Psych. Today we're going to discuss 15 ways to notice if someone is suicidal. By the time you've watched through this video, you're going to know how to identify and understand certain behavioral cues for suicide. Hopefully, you'll be able to help yourself and others. Okay, here we go. Suicide is the act of intentionally causing one's own death. Over 1 million deaths a year are the result of suicide. That translates to one every 40 seconds. It's a sad but common occurrence. Perhaps you've never personally dealt with suicide. Perhaps you know someone who has either attempted or committed suicide. And maybe you may have attempted it yourself. In any case, whatever your experience with suicide may be, it's important to understand the signs of suicidal behavior. However, it's also important to understand that whilst the signs we're about to discuss are typical, they're not necessarily universal. Seeing a single sign doesn't necessarily mean that person is suicidal. However, any combination of them may suggest they may need some professional help. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. We post videos almost every day on all things related to practical psychology, understanding the human mind, improving mental health, and becoming free from behavioral patterns. Also, we're having a free giveaway at each channel milestone every month as we grow. We're giving away the brand new latest Kindle Paperwhite from Amazon. All you have to do is be a subscriber, leave a like, and comment about anything related to this video. We like to reply to all comments, so go ahead and ask questions or comments. The winner will be picked at random and announced in a future video. Here are the 14 signs to tell if someone is suicidal. Number 1. Suicidal dialogue. Suicidal dialogue is when someone frequently talks about suicide in normal conversation. This can include questions and comments about details of suicide. The phrases may be like, "Have you ever thought about killing yourself? What do you think about suicide? What do you think is the best way to commit suicide? How would you kill yourself?" A suicidal person can use questions like these to gauge your opinion or advice. If this happens, this could indicate they need help. Number 2. Giving away personal valuables. Sometimes suicidal people become detached from their personal prized possessions. They can suddenly start giving them away, or stop using them, or taking care of them altogether. This detachment from the material world can be quite an advanced sign that they may need intervention. Number 3. Amendments to their will. Typically, people write their will during major transitions in their lives. This could be after marriage or having children. It could also be after someone starts a business or if a close family member is terminally ill. If someone indicates that they want to write their will outside of those typical circumstances, this could be a sign to look out for, especially if it's coupled with some of the other signs on this list. Number 4. Getting a weapon. It's important to note that getting a weapon isn't necessarily a sign of suicide. Depending on a person's life circumstances, this could just be for safety or self-defense, sports, or just collecting. However, if a person exhibits multiple behaviors on this list and then gets a weapon, this would merit your attention. Number 5. Abnormal sleeping patterns. Suicidal people suffer from abnormal sleeping patterns. This is because suicidal thoughts and the issues that cause them tend to occupy their mind. For some people, their brain can't relax, so they find it hard to fall asleep, whilst others can shut themselves off in order to escape the pain and can sleep for hours on end. Number 6. Low energy. People who suffer from depression tend to have low energy levels, and this can be the same for suicidal people too. Suicidal people often lose motivation to do normal everyday things, like leaving their room or house. If someone is experiencing this for prolonged periods in conjunction with the other signs, you should reach out to them. The next few signs are worth paying strong attention to. You're going to want to keep watching to see them. But before we get to that, please help us out. We're doing a research project on the psychology of the YouTube like button. We're going to release a very interesting video about it at some point in the future, and we think you'll find it really interesting. For now, please leave us a great big fat thumbs up by clicking on the like button. The more likes we get on each video, the faster we'll bring you the awesome results of our research. Number 7. Drug and alcohol abuse. In the 1970s, the Rat Park experiment was conducted. The intent was to study drug addiction and the motivations for drug use. Initial results of the experiment demonstrated that, when alone in their cages with little to no other activities, the rats would consistently risk starvation or even electrocution just so they could have the addictive drug. However, in later experiments, the rats were allowed to mingle with other rats and also had other activities introduced into the cages. It was observed that in the later experiments, the rats rarely took the drug. Two conclusions were drawn from this experiment in relation to humans. Firstly, humans can turn to drugs or alcohol abuse if they can't connect with other humans. Secondly, people can turn to drugs or alcohol if this gives them the willpower to do what they otherwise would find difficult to do when not under the influence. Number 8. Reduced or absent social life. Suicidal people often stop socializing with friends or family. This is because their mental state has caused them to feel disconnected from people. When this happens, they start declining or ignoring calls and texts. Socializing becomes the lowest priority, if at all, on a suicidal person's list. This can be a strong sign to reach out to someone. Number 9. Withdrawal from hobbies. As with people who suffer from depression, suicidal people lose interest and become withdrawn from their favorite activities. If their enthusiasm can't seem to be reignited, this could indicate some issues which need to be addressed by a friend or professional. Number 10. Harming yourself. One of the most prominent indicators of suicide is when someone engages in self-harm. This can be by way of cutting oneself, burning oneself, or poisoning oneself. Self-harm, which can be classified as a suicidal tendency, is often a gateway to suicide. Self-harmers do this as a way to numb their emotional pain with a physical one. Number 11. Reckless behavior. According to research, suicidal people are very likely to engage in reckless behavior, which can endanger them. These behaviors include getting into physical fights and driving carelessly. Number 12. Emotional outbursts. Certain irrational emotional outbursts can be signs exhibited by suicidal people. These outbursts could be for various reasons. For example, certain words or topics can remind them of some trauma from their past. Number 13. Depressed body language. A person's subconscious feelings can often be expressed unconsciously in their body language. When seen in conjunction with the other signs, these can signal someone may be contemplating suicide. For example, droopy shoulders, refusal to make or sustain eye contact, or walking whilst looking at the ground or their feet. Number 14. Past suicide attempts. This is probably the most obvious sign of a suicidal person. Suicidal people often have previous attempts at suicide, often called suicidal tendencies. It's important to understand that medication isn't always a solution, because sometimes when the person is off the drugs, they can relapse into a worse state. Number 15. Sudden highs and lows. When a person is depressed, they often have low energy or motivation to do anything. People have a misguided interpretation that at this low point a suicide is likely to occur. But this is not necessarily the case. Committing suicide actually takes planning, motivation, and resolve for it to take place. And this can be difficult to do for seriously depressed people who can barely get out of bed or leave their room. Often, friends and family of suicide victims say that they were recently very upbeat and in a good mood. This is because the person would have resolved to go through with their plan, and they believe. So, those were the 15 signs someone may be suicidal. It's important to note that just a single sign doesn't necessarily mean a person is suicidal. Let us know in the comments if you know any signs we could have left out. If you know someone you think will enjoy this video, please share it with them. It'll really help us out. Here at Planet Psych, we post videos almost every day on all things related to practical psychology, understanding the human mind, improving mental health, and becoming free from limiting behavioral patterns. Just a reminder, we're having a free giveaway when we reach the 5,000 subscriber mark. We're giving away the brand new latest Kindle Paperwhite from Amazon. All you have to do is be a subscriber and turn on all notifications. Leave a like and comment about tips to identify suicidal cues. The winner will be picked at random and announced in a future video. Thanks for watching Planet Psych. We'll see you tomorrow.